Welcome to Futures Microlearning, brought to you by the Business and Employability team at Norwich University of the Arts. These short, focused sessions are designed to give you practical tools, tips, and insights to support your creative career. Your first invoice. An invoice is a formal document you issue to a client to request payment for your work. It clearly outlines what was delivered, the costs, and how they can pay you. Sending your first invoice is very exciting, but even before you are there, creating your invoice template is a good idea. That way, when you are ready to invoice a client, you only need to fill in the specific details for the job. Details to include in an invoice. Client information. Add your client's details to the invoice. For example, if you created work for Norwich University of the Arts, you would include the university's information here. Purchase order or reference number. If your client provides you with a purchase order or PO number or reference, make sure to include it on your invoice. Many organizations use these numbers to track and approve payments, and missing them can cause delays. Invoice number. Always include a unique number on each invoice. The simplest approach is sequential numbering, like 001, 002, etc., which keeps your records organized, helps you spot any missing invoices, and helps you stay compliant with HMRC requirements. A clear numbering system also looks professional and makes it easier for both you and your client to track payments. Dates. Clearly state both the date the invoice is issued and the date payment is due. Make sure payment terms are agreed before you begin any work and are clearly set out in the contract. In the UK, 30-day payment terms are common in the creative industries, although other sectors may ask for longer terms, such as 60 or 90 days. It is important for you to work out in advance how long you can afford to wait for payment. Sometimes it is possible to invoice part of the fee in advance to cover things like materials, even before the work starts. Agreeing on payment terms with your client in advance helps avoid delays, additional charges, and supports a positive professional relationship. Description. List the work you've completed in detail. Include specifics such as project names, deliverables, or dates when the work was delivered. The more detail you provide, the easier it is for a client to understand exactly what is being invoiced. Cost of the work. Show the quantity, rate, and total amount. If you charge by the hour, you can display hours worked instead. Your information. Add your own business details such as name, contact details, and bank account or other payment methods. You can also include a company number if registered with the HMRC or Companies House.
Hi, my name's Chris Roberts. I am a Norwich University of the Arts alumni. I graduated in 2020 and I studied photography, and I work today as a freelance photographer and digital tech here in Norwich, Cambridgeshire, London, and occasionally over in Europe. I first started freelancing probably my final year of uni, so 2020, maybe 2019. And although I was very comfortable with the creative side of things when freelancing, it was a lot of the admin that I just wasn't up to speed with. So the topic that I'm going to talk about today will be invoicing, because it's one of those really kind of quite dry subjects, but if you don't get on it soon and early on in your freelancing career, it can really quickly spiral. So tip number one is there should never be any surprises on the invoice. So by the time that invoice gets sent over to your client, they really should pretty much know exactly what's going to be on that invoice. So that should include your creative rate, so your day rate for shooting or for the role that you're filling. It should be expenses, it should be any consumables. As you start to do bigger and bigger projects, you'll have things like licensing. But really, when you're first starting out, you should have discussed your day rate and exactly what your client is getting for that rate before the invoice ever gets sent. So when you send it, there's no surprises there. And my second tip is to come up with a system that works for you, which will enable you to log and monitor all of your invoices and also on that matter, all of your expenses and things like that. Doesn't matter so much on what that system is. It could be a spreadsheet that you've made, or it could be some accounting software like Free Agent or something like that, or Xero, I think is a popular one. But just something that works for you so that everything is logged. All the money in, all the money out. A kind of good tip on that as well is to follow the American convention in terms of date. So when you name a file, you should ideally name it with the date first and do the American way, so 2025, 10, 28 or something like that. And then when you need to find a specific invoice from 3-4 years ago, you'll be able to sort by name and it will go in date order, whereas the UK version won't give you that result. And my third tip is less of a tip and more of a statement, which is don't expect to get paid on time all the time. Unfortunately, even the best clients in the world, clients that you've been working with for years, occasionally drop the ball and miss your invoice. It's just kind of the way it is. So you need to make sure on your invoice you have payment terms. For me, it's predominantly 30 days from the date of invoice that client has to pay. But I know people in the industry that do 2 weeks. Some larger companies you work for may even have their own policy, which would be, say, a net 60, so 60 days, which is outrageous, but it is what it is. So don't expect to be paid on time, but also don't be afraid to chase things up. So if that invoice hits its 30 days or whatever your terms are, you know, it's absolutely to be expected that you'll send a follow-up email or a phone call just to politely chase that invoice. It's really important as a freelancer to do that because you may have a bunch of money that's going to be coming in, but if no one pays you on time, you can really quickly find yourself in a position where you have absolutely no money in your business account and you can't pay yourself that month, even though you're owed all of this cash. So it's really important to set your payment terms, keep on top of it, chase people up, be polite with it, and you'll do great.
Logo and branding. You may want to add your company logo or brand colors to an invoice. This isn't essential. What matters most is that all the required information is included and clearly presented, but feel free to. Document type. There are many ways to make an invoice. You can use your own template in Word or Excel, or there are many online tools like QuickBooks designed for small businesses. Whichever tool or program you use, always save the final invoice as a PDF before sending it to the client. This secures the formatting and avoids any accidental edits. Lastly, before sending your invoice, always double-check that all the details are correct. Pay close attention to dates, amounts, and bank details to ensure everything is as they should be. A careful review prevents delays in the payment process. Thanks for watching. If you didn't find what you were looking for or need more support, please get in touch with us at careers@norwichuni.ac.uk.